This is a small community. We're a farming community, some industrial here. This just doesn't happen in this community.
But something happened because 18-year-old Denise Pflum has disappeared. Last seen on Good Friday, one of the only clues police have is her car, found blocked and abandoned on a small gravel lane just outside town. Police suspect foul play, although there really isn't any evidence of that. But her family says she just isn't the type to run away.
I mean, she had everything going for her. I mean, she wants to go to Miami University. She got accepted. She's wanted to go there all her life, and I seriously don't see why she would run away or anything.
A straight-A student at Connersville High School, Denise is active in sports, has scholarships waiting for her, and the prom to look forward to. But at about noon last Friday, Denise left her home and hasn't been seen since. She was going to look for a purse she thought she'd lost at a bonfire party the night before. She tried to get some friends to go with her, but eventually left on her own. And that's where the story ends, on that country lane where her car was found. A mystery baffling even the experts.
Anything that comes in, we'll keep checking. We're bound to come up with something sooner or later.
Sooner, hope Denise Pflum's family, because they say the longer they wait, the less hope they have. In Connersville, I'm Janet Gross, Channel 9 Newswatch.
Hello, thank you for joining me in Missing Miles podcast. That is who we're covering today. I'm going to start doing that if I can find a little news clip to tell you who we're talking about, give you an idea of who is missing or have been murdered. But yeah, Denise Pflum is the case I've been seeing on Uncovered website for a while. The last was covered was April. Last update on the app was updated April 2nd. But yeah, she was an 18-year-old who leaves home to retrieve a purse after a night out and never returns. Where can she be? So, but before I start, always rate and review anywhere where you probably hear this on all podcasts, but rate and review anywhere you listen to this. Also, it's not a group, but you could join me at Facebook at Mr. Miles or on my other podcast, Truck Stop Murder and True Crime Podcast. All right, let's talk about Denise Pflum. Left her home to retrieve her purse she left behind at a party. She was never seen again, but her car was found the next day. Denise Pflum was an 18-year-old senior at Connersville High School, which is southeast of Indianapolis, who had dreams of studying microbiology in college. She had plans on attending Miami University in Ohio in the fall. Denise ran track during high school and had intentions on securing a track scholarship in college. Denise was incredibly bright, was a treasure of the science club, and played volleyball, softball, and basketball. Very athletic girl. Denise was looking forward to attending the senior prom the following month. Denise had broken up with her boyfriend Sean M. McClug, who have been dating for 3 years. Her mother, Judy, says that her daughter was becoming more social since the breakup. He seems like he was like a demanding, always need to be around her. The night before Denise went missing, she attended a party on a rural farm. Just a few hundred other students, she reported, left her purse behind. The next day, on March 28, 1986, around 12:30 p.m., Denise left her home to retrieve her purse. Denise called a few friends to see if they would go with her to pick up the purse. None of her friends would. They said they could. Before leaving, she had a brief conversation with her neighbor. This is the last confirmed sighting of Denise. However, a friend would tell her mother, Judy Pflum, that she saw Denise at the Fashion Bug clothing store, but when the friend described her clothing, it was incorrect. Well, she was discovered missing. When Denise didn't return home that evening, her parents began to worry. It was very unlike her. Her parents reported her missing with the local police department. Denise's locked car would be later found parked near a farm. The car was parked alongside Tower Road, a gravel lane east of Glenwood, near a barn. The farmer would later tell police that it hasn't left that site since 12:30 p.m. to 1:15 p.m. the previous day. The farmer originally thought the car belonged to mushroom hunters. There was no reason for Denise to be in the area. So in 2018, the Fayette County Sheriff's Department, from there, as Robert Warder will say, the trail went cold. Renewed efforts. I don't know if he wants me to. I should stop doing that. when I saw him at the podcast festival, he wasn't as social as he usually is with me. So maybe I'll just go ahead and stop that. So, in 2018, the Fayette County Sheriff's Department, under the leadership of Sheriff Joe Laughlin, decided to take a fresh look at the cold case. They enlisted the help of retired detective supervisor Tom Barker, who began re-examining evidence and re-interviewing witnesses. In early 2020, investigators announced that they had new information in the case, which led them to believe that Denise had been murdered. The new leads pointed to an undisclosed location in rural Fayette County, where they believed her body may be buried. Authorities conducted multiple searches in the area. It took them a long time to start searching that area, by the way, which will come up in a lawsuit I'll talk about. Using advanced technology such as ground-penetrating radar and cadaver dogs, however, they were unable to locate her remains. When the case stands today, Denise's case remains unsolved despite a confession made by police by Sean McClug, her boyfriend, in 2020. However, McClug died in police custody from undisclosed terminal illness before he could be tried for Denise's disappearance. To date, the family is providing a $100,000 reward. See, if you have any information regarding Denise's case, please contact Fayette. That's Fayette County Police Department. Their number is 765-825-1110, extension 04. Again, that is 765-825-1110, extension 604. Or you could go to submit at Laughlin at County Fayette. I'll just read out to you. LAUGHLIN at co.fayette.in.us. So, she went missing March 28th, 1986, so it's been a while. Her birthday is January 14th, 1968. Her current age would be 56. She's a couple years older than me. You see, 6. So 4 years ago. So, no, 68. So, yeah, she was 2 years older than me. Agent, she was 18 when she went missing. Her name is number is MP10555, white, female, 5'6", 135 pounds, brown hair. So let's go over the timeline. Denise and Sean broke up on February 1996. They broke up about a month before disappearance. Denise Pflum breaks up with her boyfriend of 3 years. March 27, 1986. On the night before Good Friday, Denise attends a bonfire held at a rural farm. Since its spring break, they started out as a small gathering, quickly swelled to hundreds of kids. Denise returns home after the party, but accidentally left her purse behind, having such a good time. March 28, 1986, Denise leaves her home to retrieve a purse she'd left behind at the party the previous night. She asks some friends to come with her, but everyone is busy. Her mother's later remarked it was strange that she didn't want to go alone, and wondered why she was uncomfortable going to the party location by herself. Denise gets into her parents' cream-colored 1981 Buick Regal and heads out to the side of the party. However, a tenant of the property where the party was being held later claims he never saw Denise that day, and she was never seen return from the farm. And so, March 28, 1986, less than an hour after Denise left to retrieve her purse, her unidentified distant cousin returns the purse to her home. So all she had to do is wait a little bit. And that was at, 1:30 p.m. And she had left 12:30. So another hour she would have had her purse. And I wouldn't be talking about this case unless something happens afterwards. But more likely, yeah, I would not be talking about her. March 28, 1986 at 2 p.m., an unnamed, I guess I should have been doing the times, an unnamed friend tells detectives that she saw Denise at the Fashion Bug store. However, according to her mother, the clothing that she claims Denise was wearing that day at the Fashion Bug did not match the clothing she left her home wearing. March 20, same day, 8:30 p.m., Denise is reported missing on that day. And her car, March 29th, a farmer reports seeing Denise's car along Tower Road, a secluded travel lane between his house and the field he was working. The farmer noticed Denise's cream-colored car, the Regal, Buick Regal, had been parked From 12:30 to 1:15 p.m. the previous day, Denise's car is found locked roughly 3 miles away from the party where the party was held. So Sean McClug leaves town on 1986. Shortly after, Denise's disappearance, her ex-boyfriend leaves town and moves to Arizona. Prior to leaving, he is briefly questioned about Denise's disappearance, but is never really on the police's radar as a suspect. He does not participate in any searches for Denise and does not seem to be overly affected by her disappearance. McClug is later discovered to have had a plenty lengthy criminal record in Arizona for domestic violence, and he eventually moves back to Connersville. So, what do you all think? Did he have something to do with it? Sounds like it. It sounds like he was leaving. That he was at the party, so she left, but forgot her purse was on his way to get the purse, and they might have met up somewhere. But a tip comes in on August 10th, 1988. An unnamed woman called from Norfolk, Virginia, claiming to be Pflum's daughter. Judy and David Pflum's travels to Norfolk to see this girl was actually their daughter, Denise. So the girl claimed to be Denise. The girl had called on Mrs. Pflum's day off, which would be information only Denise would know. And many things she mentioned on the call sounded like something Denise would say. When David and Judy arrives in Norfolk, the girl denies having called the family. Finally, the girl admits to calling because she thought she was Denise. She saw Denise at a local shopping center. Despite the cruelty of the hoax, the Pflums do not press charges. So, on to 2007 is when Detective Scott Javis of the Indiana State Police began working on the now cold case. In 2007, he follows up on numerous tips received to date, but no information reveals. Despite this, Javis feels that while the chances grow smaller, the colder the case gets. There is always a chance that a cold case could be solved. Just watch the cold case files. If you listen to podcasts, the cold case files shows that. Like case, that's a podcast. There's a TV show, but there's a podcast I listen to, Cold Case Files, where they solve cold cases. 2014, Denise's DNA is submitted to national database. So in 2014, samples of Denise's DNA taken from a baby tooth are submitted to the Indiana Police Department lab and national DNA database. However, no matches are found. May 3rd, 2018, Detective Reese starts Justice for Denise Pflum Facebook page. So I'm going to go join that. You can join that too if you want. Detective Stacy Reese, a police detective in Venances County, had been working on the case on a volunteer basis for several years. Detective Reese, who grew up in the same town as Denise and whose mother babysat Denise, starts a Facebook group to raise awareness of the case. And I will put a link to that on the show notes. 2018, September 7th, Mary Gray Bird Sanctuary is searched. So based on a tip from the former girlfriend of a person interested in Denise's disappearance, the Mary Gray Bird Sanctuary has searched cadaver dogs from the Indiana Department of Homeland Security. Alert the possibility of human rains at the fourth pond at the sanctuary. After a long delay due to torrential rain, the pond is searched, but nothing is found. 2018, McClug her boyfriend, is interrogated. Sheriff Joey Laughlin, who is now working the case, interrogates McClug, if I'm saying that right, McClug, about Denise's disappearance and assumed murder. The previous year, McClug has submitted to a voice stress test, and in the eyes of the authorities had failed miserably. Despite a righteous interrogation, I might say, McClug doesn't crack. So it brings us to July 9th, 2020. Denise's ex-boyfriend is arrested and charged with voluntary manslaughter. So I guess he thought no body, no crime, but I guess he was wrong. Sean McClug, who had been arrested for an unrelated fraud charge, confesses to Denise's 1986 murder. He tells police that Denise had picked him up on the day of the disappearance. They argued and he killed her, later calling a few friends to help move her body. According to a press release from the Fayette County Sheriff's Department, Sean McClug was charged with voluntary manslaughter, a Class B felony resulting from the investigation into her death of Denise Pflum, led by Sheriff Joe Laughlin and Detective Chad Blaze. BLAES. The information was probably cause alleged that McClung previously claimed that Pflum was still alive, but was recently admitted that he killed her in March of 1986. No further comments will be made at this time, and the investigation is ongoing regarding the involvement of other parties. Astonishingly, if I say that right, a deal is worked out where if McClung agreed to take authorities to the location of her body, he would be granted immunity from the murder charges. It becomes clear that he is unable to provide authorities with the location of her remains because he cannot hold up to his part of the bargain. He is charged with voluntary manslaughter and recants his confession. So it might have been a false confession. I don't know. Just thinking of West Memphis 3, that's what he did. McClung dies, of course, September 26, 2020. He dies of undisclosed terminal disease at age 56 before a trial could take place. April 28, 2021. On that day, EquiSearch Midwest, in conjunction with the CCRT Indiana Canine Search and Recovery and the Fayette County Sheriff's Department, conduct a search for the remains of Denise Pflum. The area searches are not publicized, except to mention that they were all different areas in Fayette County. The search starts at 7 a.m. and continues until 6:30 p.m. with a debrief at 7:15 p.m. that evening. The search results in no reporting of any specific discoveries, but Denise's father remarks that it gives them a better idea of where Denise's remains are not located. They might not know where she's at, but they know where she's not. So bring March 19, 2024, nearly 40 years, Denise's parents, David and Julie, filed a lawsuit requesting access to a 327-acre property now owned by Erika Johnson. The lawsuit notes that the property belongs to Erika's father at the time of Denise's disappearance. At the time of Denise's disappearance, her car was found 1.3 miles away from the property. Abandoned Erika's brother, Benjamin, that's where I'm not the same question. Erika's brother, Benjamin Q. Johnson, was also been identified as a person of interest. So what do you think? You think her ex-boyfriend actually did this and, committed crime, hid the body with some help of others that are not talking? And why wouldn't these people let them search their acres? That's 300. It's been a while. Why not give this family closure? Let them search the area. Nobody's going to be charged. I don't think anybody there will be charged because he did have access to that property. So just bring the family closure on where it's at. Where she is at. And at this time, I'm going to go over, I Googled her name. I'm going to go over sometimes people ask. That's what people ask. One the person asked is, Pflum went missing in March. Was she ever found? And of course, she was never found. Filed lawsuit, like I told you about that. Where was Denise Pflum's car found? At the time of her disappearance, Denise's car was found 1.3 miles from the property that they're trying to search. What is the show about Denise Pflum? So, Small Town Secrets. I'm not for sure what show that is. A 32-year-old cold case investigates into the cold murder of student athlete Denise Pflum in Indiana. So you could check that out if you want. It's Small Town Secrets. I think it's a TV show. I don't know. Well, there you go. There is the disappearance and maybe murder of Denise Pflum. If you enjoyed telling that story, also if you know anything, you could call the contact information I gave you. Always 911 is always the best. Indiana State Police Department, but 911 will probably direct you better. But also the Facebook group, which I will provide a link to it in the show notes. But please rate and review, like I said at the beginning. Also, don't forget the True Crime and Paranormal Podcast Festival in Boston next year in July, I believe. The notes, the website will be in the show notes. You can check that out. So we have a long time right there in Boston. So I hope to see you there. I might do a show or not. I haven't made up my mind. Maybe I'll join somebody else. I don't know. But you could email me at missingmouse70@gmail.com. Also, I have my other podcast, Truck Stop Murder and True Crime Podcast, where if you want to join my YouTube channel, these videos will also be there. Now, there's no video, it's just audio. I'm trying to work to put audio on the video, pictures and stuff like that on the video, but man, as a truck driver, I do stay busy. Matter of fact, right now, I was able to find time to record this because I'm in McCook, Illinois, getting unloaded. So what's the best time to do it? Well, I'm sitting in my truck, and yes, my truck is also my studio. With that being said, thank you for joining, and always be safe. And also, one last thing, I know my Desra, calm down. She gets mad at me every time I say bye. I say, wait a second, one thing. Go check out, if you haven't already, go check out, and you're still here, Already Gone podcast with Nina Instead. She has a beautiful voice, and she makes murder sound pleasant. But yeah, go check her out. And like I said, stay safe.